Okay, so I got a jig plate on the top, which is just a regular liner for the Warncliffe, and two water cut planks. I had already drilled and reamed the pivot pin hole. I get a water cut 20 thou under, and then ream it to size. And then, so my jig plate, toe clamped, and this is 0.74 thousandths drill bit. You're thinking, well, that's not the right size for a 256 screw. It calls for 0.63 for a 256, but I noticed the first couple of knives I did that an 0.63 going through stainless breaks taps. So I stepped it up to the 74, and it works great. There's more than enough thread for a good tight, a good solid thread. I mean, they're tiny screws, so you don't really have to worry about them stripping out, going that far oversized. But it doesn't break taps. Taps real nice in both aluminum and stainless. So that's why I go with the 74. So we're going to go ahead and drill. I'm going to do that for another 3 sets. Okay, this is my flat grinder. This is just a half horse motor I found in a junk pile. And this is the 9-inch attachment from Beaumont Metalworks. It's like 90 bucks, which, I mean, you can't beat that for platinum. It's nice aluminum. This is a 60 grit 3M abrasive, just a regular. This is the stuff here. It's just the standard 3M 60 grit, and this is what I use for deburring, like everything, and it's important to deburr after every machining step. So now these are in pairs, so you don't want to get them screwed up at this point. So we're just going to deburr all these burrs on the holes. You're probably wondering why this wobbles so bad. When I bought it, it was awesome. And then I tried to adapt it for a metric shaft on a DC motor and screwed it up. And I don't have a lathe, so I rigged up, I had to drill it over quite a bit, I think 7/8 or something like that, or an inch. And you got a keyway in there, so it's real hard to keep things straight, especially when you're just using a drill press. But this is as good as I got it back, which works for what I use it for. One of these days I'll buy a new one and put a new motor underneath, but this is not Beaumont's normal product. That's me screwing up Beaumont's more normal product. Normally they run perfectly flat and smooth. I mean, they're awesome until you screw with them like I did. This morning I'm working on finishing up some Warncliffes. Here's one of the handle scales. You can see where I scribed the line to cut for the lock bar. I drilled a hole that is tangent to both the part that's going to lock on the blade and then the part that locks the bar, or that cuts the bar out itself between this hole and this hole. Used blue Sharpie for layout dye, basically, so you can see the line nice and clear. And now I'm going to be using the drill press to cut this one out, and then this line. I got my drill press set on its max RPM, which is 3100. And I use, this is the Dremel extra heavy duty number 420 cutting disc for the lock bar. This is what it looks like. And we'll just chuck it up. Now these discs, I usually go through 2 or 3, sometimes 4 of them just to cut out a lock bar, but they work pretty good. So I'm going to take the drill press vise here and one of my parallels. I'm just going to line up the line on the vise jaw. I like to cut the long one first. Show you what it looks like here. I just put the parallel on there and line the line up to it. You can see I moved the drill press table up so I don't have any downward pressure on the spindle. You know, I don't have to hold it or nothing. So the drill press table's up, and I'm just going to take the vise and move it along the drill press table like so to make the cut. You can see it follows the line perfectly. So now we're going to cut this lock face. I'm going to stand a taller parallel on here. Now this one I cut right in the middle of the line. This one I want to cut on the top of the line. So this part's going to be on the top of the line because this is my locking face. This is where I scribed it against the blade. So, because the way this table moves, when I loosen the lock up, the table tilts a little bit, and that's roughly about half the thickness of this. So, on this machine, your machine might do the same thing. And the other thing is, you always want to go down farther and come up to where you're at. That way, when you lock it down, it's square. If you don't, it doesn't necessarily stay square. One of the main reasons why I cut it on both sides is it reduces the burr. So at this point I can just take a file and run it through the groove, and it knocks all the burr off, where if you didn't, you'd have a big stringy burr on there. So now with the lock bar cut out, we're going to drill our detent ball hole and then through drill it to our blade. Okay, so this is a 57 thousandths drill bit, which is our detent ball is 1/16 of an inch, so that's 0.63, so it's just slightly undersized to give it a good grip on the ball. Now I want to get this as close to this corner as possible. This corner here, but without getting too close. Okay, so I got the blade clamped in the folder the way I want it. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to drill just a spot drill down into that, and I'm going to come in with my smaller drill bit, which is a 053, or number 53 I should say, carbide bit, and drill down just a little bit for the ball detent. And this one here is a screw machine length carbide number 53 drill bit. I'm just going down about the width of the drill into the blade, just enough to give that detent ball a spot to sit. We got Doug back over today learning how to make sheaths. Doing his best not to screw up.
Yeah, doing my best.
He's making notes for himself because he just screwed up. So that's a paper cutout that he's working with, fitting for the knives that he just finished. I'll get a shot of these. These are the same knives we heat treated in the last video, and Doug has done pretty good, especially for, is it 4, 5, and 6?
3, 4, and 5.
3, 4, and 5. So these are elk,
Deer, elk, and monkey pod wood from Hawaii.
okay, and then these ones have a diamond wood spacer, and all of them have brass, 1/8" brass guards. Here's Doug cutting.
Try not to cut his fingers off.
So what he did there was he took his paper cutout of the knife sheath that he designed and transferred it to the inside of the leather, and now he's cutting it out. He's got one cut out already. This is number 2, and he's got one more after that. This is the one he has to cut out. And then he's got hours of hand sewing.
Yes.
I'm not going to let him use the machine because he needs to learn how to hand sew. So, good time to watch movies.